Hey people, it's nice talking. Now, before I get started, I'm just gonna say this is basically covers ideas of religion and spirituality, so if you or a person just finds any talk of that annoying, I'd advise you just click off now. Okay, so I'm gonna state this. This is just a sort of stream of consciousness. I just woke up with a lot of these ideas in my head, so it may not come out quite as coherently as I would hoping for it, so just bear with me. So, I woke up and started thinking a lot about religion and people's ideas of it. Now, I'll start with this. I remember meeting an African woman, and she talked to me, and she said, "Oh, you're a Muslim, and you do this and you do that." And the thing is, one of the things I've realized talking to some African people is some of them are resentful of religion, or at least other people in their religions, but they're kind of jealous because they say, "Well, we like the way your community functions." Because she grew up in Algeria, and she said, "Oh, I like the way everyone had a community in the sense of family and their warrior spirit and the way everything functioned." So, she didn't necessarily follow Islam, but she liked the way the Arab community in Algeria functioned in her eyes because of Islam. And that's another thing I wanted to get to because, how would I say this? The main point of my argument is that a lot of people look to these religions to make the change in themselves. And that's not going to happen. It doesn't matter what religion or spirituality you choose to follow. None of them will work until certain conditions are met. You know, it was said in the Quran that God will not change a people until the people change themselves. And for anyone who follows Pastor Charles Wilson, he quoted, I think, well, I don't know exactly what passage it was, but he said, for there to be a peace that goes beyond understanding, we have to find peace within ourselves before we can find peace outside ourselves. I mean, what do I mean by that? Look, we can't expect these religions to change us until we change. I mean, people like to talk about Malcolm X and Islam. The thing is, by having that conversation with him and talking to him about Islam or the Nation of Islam or whatever, and all those talks, they were not of any use because he was not in a position to hear the message. By being put in jail, it had taken him away from those influences and forced him to be entered into a mind state of contemplation and reflection that made him open to the message. And I remember actually watching a video about some, I think, young adult or teenager who would live the gang life, and he talked about how he was running around with knives and gangs and how he was so in fear. And one day, out of just pure desperation, he came to the church and he said to God, if you are real, please show yourself and change things for me. And I don't know exactly what happened, I can't remember it, but from that point onward, things changed. He became a devoted Christian, he left the gang life behind him, he became a youth worker, and he wanted to become an upstanding member of his community. You see, putting him in a church and showing him a Bible, that didn't change it. He got to a point in himself where he said, I don't want to live this life, I want to change. And there was a quote that I saw, this meme that was really great, this of an egg, of a chick hacking from an egg. And it said, when an egg is broken from the outside, life ends. When an egg is broken from the inside, life begins. All great things happen from within. And that's my thing. For the black nation in America, Tiwaniyan, religion is not working because deep down the desire to change isn't there. And a lot of people say, well, we feel offended by that, but that's the truth. That's why all these people who seem to be adopting whatever religion aren't changing, because the real desire to change and become a better person isn't there. A lot of it is just a desire to have a quick fix. You know, only when you made that profound spiritual change within yourself and move to become a different and better person can any spiritual system really work its effects on you. And that's one of my things that I'm thinking, and this is what I would relate to white supremacy. Because people would say, why is it that we can't seem to change things? Because the truth is, most people, even people who profess to want it to change, don't really want to change. What they're really hoping for is for their situation to change. Man, if I could just have a little bit more money or a better job or some better clothes, and when they get those things, they're like, oh, I'm cool. I don't feel so worked up about things anymore. And the condition of the overall community is the same, but they're like, I'm not really bothered. Because the truth is, they weren't really concerned about change. They just wanted their own personal situation to change. That's one of the things I speculate as to why things are not, system-wide supremacy isn't going away. Because first off, the majority of the community does not really want things to change. I mean, think about this. The black nations all over the world collectively have so many resources. If you look at Africa, there's more resources in the whole of Africa than the whole of the world. And yet things are not changing. Because both the mentality of the leaders and the people that follow those leaders is not really to change things or to use those resources for their own benefit. And if you take a look at Black America in its development and the amount of income it has is seen as the ninth biggest country in the world. But it isn't making that change because most people are just sort of content, like in the situation they're in. The mindset has to change in order for the situation to change. A lot of people are just sort of content where they're at, even when they have the resources to change things. People say, why is God not changing things? I personally think God has given everything necessary for things to change. But people have not changed themselves to utilize the tools that have been provided. Now, I'm going to get people commenting, oh, you're just trying to push Islam. No, I don't want, that's not the point of this video. This isn't an endorsement of any specific religion or spiritual system. It's just to relay some of those ideas. The main point of this video is that change is not coming because most people do not truly want to change to bring about the change. Anyway, I hope that these ideas have made sense because below this is just a stream of consciousness. So please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. And please share your thoughts. I would love to hear what you think. Peace.